organization called Peer to Peer Hope Wellness. What does that mean? That means I'm an individual that has lived experience with mental health as well as substance use disorder, right? And so I'm able to go down into the trenches and make a connection with the individuals that are actually going through possibly a crisis or some form of substance use addiction. Forgive me if I ramble. I'm like really, really nervous right now. What I wanted to kind of talk about was there was an experiment made, right? Not too long ago, but it's been a while, by Kaiser Permanente. It's called the ACE study, right? The Adverse Childhood Experience, right? And so what it came up with was there was a common denominator where there was a lot of trauma, right, that was going on in various households. It was emotional, spiritual, physical. You know, you say trauma and everybody thinks about, you know, the physical aspect of it, right? No one wants to identify with the emotional or the spiritual part of it. You know, when I remember when I was 9 years old and I was going to church and Bible study with Granny, you know, we had one of those pastors that was preaching fire and brimstone, right? And he told me I was going to hell, and I was like, man, I'm just 9. I just got here, right? You know, give me a chance, really. I mean, I don't even understand this thing yet, you know? And so that affected me, and so there was a disconnect immediately as a child from God, right? And so that created some emotional trauma for me because I didn't feel like I was like everyone else, right? And so that like created my substance use disorder, right? And so we think about substance use disorder and mental illness as two different things. Really, they go hand in hand. You know, in most cases, people with some type of mental illness are using substances as a form of self-medication for the chemical imbalance they already have, right? The truth of the matter is, a good 30% of the individuals in this room is undiagnosed with some type of mental illness, right? No one wants to acknowledge it because of stigma, because of shame. It's easier to call it addiction than to call it mental illness. Why? Because addict doesn't really sound as bad as someone's crazy, right? They have a form of a mental illness. You know, being that I have lived experience in that arena, a couple of failed suicide attempts, the chemical imbalance where I'm currently on medications for it, right? The community still frowns upon it. I work for an agency called MHMR. A lot of you guys deem MHMR as mental health, mental retardation. Well, we've changed our name to My Health, My Resources, but the stigma focuses on the mental health. Everyone focuses on the mental retardation. So no one wants to be retarded, right? But you're actually having a human experience to life circumstances, right? And so I have some other notes. Don't laugh at me, as a peer, I'm able to walk with someone. I actually go down into the trenches, right? Briefly before Carl passed me the microphone, and I was sitting here and I was praying because I was like, okay, I'm nervous, right? I'm sitting on a panel of very, very important people, a lot of professionals, and so my mental illness kicked in and said, well, Jack, you don't have nothing to say of importance. You know, how are you gonna like connect the dots? You know, mental illness and addiction can come in the forms of, as we heard, sex, but a lot of individuals are workaholics, right? They use the form of work to cope with the mental illness. That's the medication that they use, right? When there's therapy out there, I'm real big on therapy and not medication, right? Having someone to talk to. It's important to have some form of connection, and my position allows me to provide that connection, you know? My job requires me to go into the criminal justice system, and I interview individuals in jail, right? And you can see a sign of relief come on their face when I say, hey, I've been where you've been. I have some convictions and quite a few arrests, right? And they're like, oh, for real? You know, yes, very much so, because I'm not another clinician, and I'm not going to talk to them, and things of that nature, you know. Verbiage is really, really important. You know, what you say to an individual that is suffering from a mental illness is going to cause a disconnect. And that's the truth of the matter. Ellen, Ellen Copeland created a plan. It's called RAP, Wellness Recovery Action Plan. What does that look like? There is an opportunity to sit down and identify some triggers, possibly some early warning signs, right? And you're able to create a crisis plan, right? And you share that with your family. What does that a crisis plan looks like? Well, in the instance that I may have a crisis, I may have a hospitalization, as you'll call it, right? My plan gives you permission, and other people in my family permission, to perform certain tasks, like feeding my dog, or cleaning the house, or possibly paying my bills, because I'm in a state of mind where I can do none of those things. There's also a post-crisis plan where me and my family members are tapering off of those said responsibilities, right? Before I can just get out of a hospitalization and take on all these responsibilities and becoming overwhelmed, me and my family member are going to sit and talk and say, hey, in 3 weeks I want to pay my own bills. In 4 weeks I want to return to work, right? In 5 weeks I want to see my doctor. I want to see my therapist, right? Another thing in closing I will share with you guys is studies show that trauma causes physical health problems, right? Mental health is really a feeling disease. I feel a certain type of way, I want to alter the way that I feel, right? That usually looks like substances, right? But what it really is I have these feelings of inadequacy, like sitting on a panel and talking to a crowd of people that I don't know, right? And because of those feelings, I want to alter the way that I feel, right? And because of stigma, I don't want to take medication, right? I suffer in silence because of stigma, right? So, again, I'm able to go in and bridge that gap between clinician and, I don't want to say client, I'm going to say individual, right? And lastly, don't give an individual a sheet of paper and say, here's a bunch of resources for you that's going to take care of you, right? Example being, everyone in here pretty much drove, right? And so if I took everyone's keys and handed them a piece of paper, how would you utilize those resources, right? So I walk through the flame with them. You know, a lot of people don't know how to get an identification card, or there can be a scary moment, right? Well, I'm right there with you. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to support you, right? Critical documents are key to possibly becoming more independent, right? A job interview. I may not be able to sit in an interview with you, but I'm going to advocate for you, right? Hey, this individual is really trying to start their life over, give them an opportunity, right? And that's what I do. I love being in the trenches, and I love what I do. Lastly, I think the church needs to play a key part in that, right? And because you guys have resources inside of the church. You know, one of the things about organizations and programs is funding, right? But there's people in the church with an area of expertise, be it that it's networking like Laura, or grant writing, or just actually, for lack of a better word, panhandling, asking people for money. You know, Doug doesn't know it, but I used to work for Doug, right? And I enjoyed every day. I learned so much. I learned a lot about myself, right? And so that's my spiel for today. Thank you.